Man, this is just heartbreaking. We've got updates on Jack Hughes. We've got the continued poor play of Devils center Erik Haula, and now the latest injury to Dougie Hamilton in their heartbreaking 4-3 loss to the Dallas Stars. I'm Ryan the Goose Gosiker here on Devils Digest. We're going to get into all of it tonight, but I just want to give you a chance to be one of our first subscribers here on the channel. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and we'll get the show started. So, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's been a terrible week if you're a New Jersey Devil fan. It has just been an absolutely heartbreaking week for this team, this franchise, this city, and everybody that wants to be a part of something special in Devils land. It has just been a heartbreaker, and it starts with Jack Hughes. And while we don't have an official timeline, which it always gets to me, the NHL was never like, in the NFL, NBA, MLB, MLB maybe less so because they just get shut down. But mostly in some of the bigger sports, it's, he's out 4 to 6 weeks. Well, in the NHL, they'll typically go, we got to evaluate them, and we'll go week to week, and this, that, and the other thing, kind of dancing around it, doing their best dancing impression. I'm not going to do mine here on the camera. Don't worry. Nobody get afraid, okay? But NHL injuries are often danced around, and unfortunately, you have to kind of just take little pieces of nuggets of information, and we got one of those tonight in regards to Jack Hughes. Emily Kaplan on the ESPN Plus pregame, because the Devil Stars game was an ESPN Plus Hulu/Disney Plus game, that Jack Hughes is going to be out for a bit. What that actually means, none of us really know, but the important part is the back half of that sentence, which is he's deciding whether he needs to get surgery or not, which will dictate the timeline. Obviously, if he doesn't get surgery, it's just going to be tough for him to kind of manage through. He tried to do it, I believe, last year or the year before. He's just, it's tough. It's hard to play through an injury like that in a guy that has a small frame as is. So, and then obviously if he gets surgery, he's not going to be back anytime in this season. It will most likely be for training camp. And it's just heartbreaking when you look up and down this roster right now. I mean, just look at some of the injuries that they're dealing with, right? Jack Hughes is now hurt. Dougie Hamilton, we'll get to him in a little bit. Jonas Siegenthaler, who's been their best pure defenseman, is down right now. And now the Rangers are creeping in. Columbus is creeping in. And that's just something you don't want to see if you're a New Jersey Devil fan, is those guys who were in the rearview mirror who you couldn't see, right? It's like when you're on the highway driving in the fast lane, you think you're going the speed limit, 65 miles an hour in the left lane, and then all of a sudden those people that you could barely see, they look like specks in your rearview mirror, are now right up on your bumper, and you got to get over to that middle lane. So that's what the Devils are running into right now. What they think is 100 miles an hour, what they think is enough, is currently not enough, and the teams behind them are doing everything that they can to get up in front of them. And just taking a look at what the Devils miss, and I mean, it just can't be understated what the Devils will miss in Jack Hughes, who's just been electric for this team. You see the 70 points that leads the team, although Jesper Bratt's going to kind of take over that role. He had 2 assists against Dallas as well. So you just can't, there is no perfect replacement for this guy. Do I believe the Devils have enough talent on this team to be borderline successful? I do. I think they can middle their way, but is middle your way enough to get you into the postseason this year with this group of teams coming from behind you? I'm not 100% sure, and I don't think the Devils can be 100% sure either, which is why Tom Fitzgerald needs to make a move. And it's interesting, we go back to this tweet that we were reading first about the Jack Hughes news. If you read the bottom of it as well, Kaplan also said that reportedly this doesn't change the Devils' position on what they're going to do at the trade deadline. So they still might be aggressive. I don't know. All I know is the clock continues to tick on GM Tom Fitzgerald. And part of why it has to tick is because of the poor play that he has gotten from the bottom 6, and in particular, Erik Haula. And he just has not been good enough for this team. You look at this year, a -10. Just not good enough. The guy hasn't scored a point since Thanksgiving, right? He can't even luck into getting a puck off the helmet or something. And of course, in this game against Dallas, Devils tied up 3-3, really inspirational in how they were able to come back and fight, and they get the Hischier deflection in, and Pesce scores. That's like, I mean, you know, that just doesn't happen. I mean, even a broken clock's right twice a day, I guess. But Pesce, who never scores the tying goal, and you can feel the momentum. And then the Devils get a very questionable icing call by Johnathan Kovacevic. I didn't agree with the call. The broadcast didn't agree with the call. Didn't seem like Sheldon Keefe agreed with the call. Any player on the ice that's wearing Devils colors didn't agree with the call. The only ones agreeing with the call were Stars players and their fans. That's about it. Everybody else kind of saw it and was like, wait a minute, that didn't look like icing. So it's set up an Erik Haula face-off in the defensive zone. Devils needing to fight just 13 seconds to go. And instead, this happens. As you can see, Dallas gets the puck, and it's just all she wrote from there. So heartbreak for the Devils in Dallas in a game that they fought back so hard. And you know what? I was texting in group chats, if they can just get 1 point out of this, if they can just get a singular point out of this game, in a game that was just out of control for them so much throughout, it would be like a win. It would be a win for them to get a point, especially with the teams this close together. So for them to go down in that style, we'll take another look at it here. It just, Erik Haula loses the face-off, and then the play turns into this. It is just a backbreaker for this organization in what needed a win, needed a jumpstart win, needed a jumpstart overtime to just get a point. That's what this team needed desperately, and they were unable to get it with just a mere 13 seconds to go. And you saw the goal with even under 10 seconds. I believe it was under 5 seconds as well. And it's just frustrating. What can go wrong? This is Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong for the Devils right now. It certainly is. And they have to find a way to stop the bleeding. And you know what? This road trip is over. They come home. They host Winnipeg on Friday. The problem is going to be, what are they going to do without Dougie Hamilton? Now, Dougie Hamilton not having the greatest year of his career, but certainly still up there and, you know, still dishing out those assists, right? He's hitting people. He's got some good, you know, block shot numbers. Also plus 10 in that department. And it just kills you to see Dougie Hamilton go down. Now, it was a weird little play, and the knee was kind of caught up against the boards. But, man, when you just see a tweet like this that says, no Dougie for the third period, because this happened in the first period. So he not only missed then the rest of that period, the second period, and the third period. There was just no Dougie to be found. And Dougie's a fan favorite. Listen, whatever you think of Dougie, you know, it is what it is. But certainly he's a fan favorite around this team for the most part. I think there's a small minority of people that can't stand him or, you know, kind of want him moved. But most Devil fans love Dougie, and he's great, obviously, with the kids and his charity foundations and everything like that. But it's just unfortunate news for the Devils who just continue to lose piece by piece. You would have to assume that if Dougie is out, that would mean the recall of Seamus Casey. Does it mean we see Santeri Hataka? That's a great question. I'd love to know what you think. Leave it in the comments for me. Okay, let me know what you think. Who do you want to see come up? Casey, Hataka. We haven't seen Hataka in the NHL this year, so maybe this is a great opportunity for him to get up there. But, man, just heartbreak for the New Jersey Devils in this one. Again, it's just unfortunate. We will take one more look at this goal. It's just a backbreaker, one that Jacob Markstrom wants back, one that I think every Devil fan wants back, because you're just saying and screaming at the TV, just get us a point. Just get to overtime. Doesn't matter if you're tired. Doesn't matter if you get waxed in the first 30 seconds of overtime. You would have at least secured a point. But if you're a Devil and you're a Devil fan, right, that was the last game they played before the trade deadline, so potentially this roster could look a little bit different. Don't expect overhauls, okay? We don't know what to expect on Jack Hughes, okay? But certainly you saw the tweet, Emily Kaplan saying it's really deciding whether he wants surgery or not. And that's going to be obviously the big component in the timeline. And then obviously, where's Dougie Hamilton? What's Dougie going to do? And what does that mean for the Devils' defense moving forward? Certainly, they're holding on by a thread. And they're going to have to step up in more ways than I think even they signed up for earlier in this year. So, Devils fans, heartbreak against Dallas, just an absolute backbreaker, 4-3. The update about Hughes, obviously, with the shoulder. Then you lose Hamilton. Then you get the absolutely putrid icing call. Okay, we're not going to sugarcoat things here. Putrid icing call against Kovacevic. That sets up the Haula lost face-off, which turns into the goal with just mere seconds remaining in the game. So next time you see the Devils, we'll be back at the Rock. I will be there, up there in section 132, screaming my face off, okay, because I love the Devils, all right? Be there. If you're going to be there, leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think about not only the channel, but also this Devils season. Where is it going from here, and how do they possibly turn it around going up against the number one team points-wise in the NHL against Winnipeg? So leave us a comment here on Devils Digest. I'm your host, Ryan the Gosiker. Always a pleasure chatting with you, and we hope we're bringing you the most up-to-date content here on Devils Digest. I'll give you one quick chance before we go. Hit that subscribe button for us. Be one of the first subscribers here on Devils Digest. I appreciate it wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening, watching, doing both, doing one or the other. Doesn't matter to me. I appreciate you for just tuning into this content. So for me, at Devils Digest, I'm Ryan the Gosiker. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you next time.